Yeah.
Good evening. I call to meeting this order of the Elk Grove Park District. It is Thursday, April 24th, 2025. May I please have a roll call?
President Walls is absent. Vice President Biedke,
Here?
Commissioner Carlson,
Here.
Commissioner Cook,
Here.
Commissioner O'Malley.
I'm here.
Thank you. Can I please have a voice vote for the April 10th, 2025 regular meeting minutes? Do I have a motion? Or all in favor?
All in favor? Aye.
Aye, 4-0. Thank you. Public communication, do we have any comments from the audience?
Yes, really quick.
Thank you.
Of course, you all know Danny Maria, President of Elk Grove. During the campaign, some of the concerns that came up when I met with residents and board members of other committees were there hasn't been a president's meeting in over 2 years. Certain board members were, how come also, why does everybody have the right to vote with some of the positions and the use of the P cards? So that's just some concerns that I was going to look into and I want to bring up now and just see what your feedback is on that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Do we, any staff or commissioners have any correspondence?
I guess my feedback to just that question would be, all right, moving forward, if we end up changing these roles, you know what, based on that, we change committee assignments, and whoever ends up in the athletic chair, if I'm sitting in the president's chair, I am expecting meetings between the presidents, because I find value in having the treasurers and the presidents attend those meetings. In regard to the pro card, I'm not even big in favor of anybody having a pro card if they're not an employee. That's just me with associations. I've heard the rumor that the pro card does make its way outside of the treasurers and the presidents, and I would challenge staff, if they're hearing that same rumor, to stop it. And if you could validate anything, or we go from there. That's my comments.
Okay. So we were on comments by the commissioners or correspondence?
Correspondence.
We're on correspondence. Okay, thank you. You confused me with that. Sorry. Do we have any comments by commissioners?
I have no correspondence.
All right. Moving on to number 6, recommendations for acceptance and approval. I need a motion and a second for approval of pay request from Musco Sports Lighting of Oskaloosa, Iowa for the sports lighting project at Marshall Park Soccer Field and Pickleball Court in the amount of $91,913.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Bill O'Malley and second by Scott Carlson. Can I please have a voice vote?
I got
Yeah, I'm sorry, questions.
That's okay. Yeah, I just had a question on that. I just want to confirm that, did staff do the light check in the evening to make sure it was not, it was doing what it's supposed to, that they're adjusted so they only shine on the field and not into the residents' houses in the
Yeah, the lights have been on a couple of times now, just to test them out. And then today, there's a practice out there, so they'll be on tonight.
Okay, so who from, what staff was there for the test?
The athletic supervisor manages the lighting based on what games are being programmed or practices.
No, he meant for the
No,
test. So I was there for the first one.
Yeah, I was there, Ben was there, Matt Messenger was
Okay,
there,
so that's
John
what
was
I'm-
there.
From staff, you're confirming that the lights are going where they're supposed to go and are not infringing?
100%.
Yeah, and I spoke with Musco directly about having the default shut-off time at 9 o'clock, so they shouldn't be on past 9.
They can't be on, they won't let us. And then Commissioner Walls, who backs up to in the far corner, sent me a video from his backyard of the lights and the houses, and it's pitch black in all the backyards. All you can see is they call it dark sky. So that's the reason these lights are so high, is they're going straight down in the field, nowhere else. And it was exactly what we have been saying all along.
Okay, and then the last question I had is, I know there was some damage done by the equipment that they brought out there when they were doing the lights. Has that been rectified? Did we do an adjustment on the bid on that?
We did an adjustment on the
And what was that?
invoice. I took $1,000 off of the price for us to make repairs.
Okay, does this close out the account?
No, there's another 10,000, which is just a small retainer.
Is-
Retainage for.
5% retainer.
Okay, okay. Sounds good.
Any other questions?
No.
And thank you for reminding me. And can we please have a roll call vote?
Commissioner Carlson?
Yes.
Commissioner Cook?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
Vice President Bianchi?
Yes. Can I please have a motion and a second for approval of payment application number 4 from Beard Construction Incorporated for the Rolling Meadows, Illinois, for the Fox Run Driving Range Building Improvement Project in the amount of $53,660.82.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Tom Cook, second by Scott Carlson. Do we have any questions? No questions? Can we please have a roll call vote?
Commissioner Cook?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
Commissioner Carlson?
Yes.
Vice President Bianchi?
Yes. Can I please have a motion and a second for acceptance of the bid from R.J. O'Neill Incorporated of Montgomery, Illinois for the purchase of equipment and installation for the Rainbow Falls Bathhouse Water Heater Replacement Project in the amount of $43,450. Any questions?
No questions, so moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay, very good. Motion by Bill O'Malley, second by Tom Cook. Roll call, please.
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
Commissioner Carlson?
Yes.
Commissioner Cook?
Yes.
Vice President Bianchi?
Yes. Can I please have a motion and a second for approval of the lease agreement with the First Baptist Church of Elk Grove Village for the property known as Sanders Park for a 10-year term in the amount of $10?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Motion by Scott Carlson, second by Bill O'Malley. No questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Carlson?
Yes.
Commissioner Cook?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
Vice President Bianchi?
Yes. Can I have a motion and a second for acceptance of the bid from Illinois
Wait,
Pump?
I'm sorry, can we just go back and just to cover for, because it doesn't really mention in the motion, it talks about the dollar amount we're approving, but doesn't also indicate that the lease terms agree that the parks will maintain the grass area at that location as well as by keeping the grass mowed and the playing areas and the parking lot free of any debris. Additionally, we'll pay 50% of the cost of maintaining the parking lot, including seal coating and hole patching. So that's also part of this, not part of the motion, but part of the agreement that we agreed to. So it'd be nice if we could get something like that with QR, but anyways. Apparently the
plug.
Baptists don't have a problem.
Okay, moving on. Acceptance of the bid from Illinois Pump Incorporated of Rolling Meadows, Illinois for the purchase and installation of a vertical turbine pump for the Rainbow Falls Leisure Pool Pump Replacement Project in the amount of $61,786. Motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion by Scott Carlson, second by Tom Cook. Any questions? Can we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Cook?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
Commissioner Carlson?
Yes.
Vice President Bianchi?
Yes. Okay, moving on, can we have acceptance, of the bid from Growing Solutions Incorporated of Peatone, Illinois for the 2025 Fox Run Wastewater Treatment System Project in the amount of $120,000? Motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Bill O'Malley, Tom Cook, and any questions?
Yeah, maybe I think Mark should explain.
So this,
Well, just so that
this is
people know.
this is a wastewater treatment system that uses recycled water to clean the equipment. And the recycled water goes through a process of filtering the water through microbes. So it breaks down all the organic matter and it gets rid of the smell and just gunk from the equipment. So you're washing it off. It's not really going into the sewer. It's recycled water. And again, it really, the main issue is it greatly reduces the smell from the from the grass clippings decaying and stuff like that.
Is this something that most courses have, this type of system, or is there any other methods for eliminating the smell when you're washing equipment or whatever that?
What we were doing last year was just kind of dumping it into a catch basin, and then the smell builds up. Then you have to suck it out and keep doing that. It's just a huge drain on maintenance. And then there's also, again, the smell. So at the last course I was at, we had that system. The course two courses ago that I was at, we had something similar. It wasn't the same. It was basically a bigger pit that we had to pump out once a year as opposed to once a month. It did smell.
Well, when you say recycle the water, you're reusing the water to keep
You're-
cleaning,
Yeah,
same
you're
water.
constantly
Okay.
reusing the same water, and that water has microbes in it that break down all that organic matter.
Okay.
It's also my understanding the wastewater treatment originally was a part of the scope of our entire project 3.5 years ago. And when we had some of the bids come in and higher, I believe it's one of the things we eliminated from there. The other thing to add is you still have to physically at some point remove the grass and the mulch out of there. So it's not like you still, it eats away and you're just masquerading the odor. You still have to physically remove it.
But we're not dumping water down the storm sewer either.
You know,
It'll get rid of the smell in the front of the building in the summer.
Okay.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Okay, Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
Commissioner Carlson?
Yes.
Commissioner Cook?
Yes.
Vice President Beasley?
Yes. Moving on, approval of the safety manual. Any questions? Nope. Can we have a motion and a second, please?
So moved?
Second.
Tom Cook, Scott Carlson. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Carlson?
Yes.
Commissioner Cook?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
Vice President Beasley?
Yes. Acceptance of the bid from Hacienda Landscaping Incorporated of Manuka, Illinois for playground equipment installation and construction for the Roosevelt 2 to 5 playground renovation project in the amount of $103,604. Any questions?
Yes. Why are we, they weren't the low bid here, so why are we going with the second highest?
Midwest Field Solutions did not turn in a bid bond with their bid package, so we were forced to disqualify them.
And did we follow up with them as to,
Yeah.
they refused, they weren't going to submit one, or we're not going to get one?
It's part of it. You have to put it as a bid packet. You can't come back.
Okay,
Yeah, it's part of the requirement when you put the actual bid in.
okay. So when you give us the write-up, that would be helpful to kind of explain if we're not going with the lowest bid and you're recommending something else. It'd be nice if you kind of clarify that when we,
Yeah, I
In the memo.
apologize.
as I miss it.
And I wrote down the same thing, especially since they're Elk Grove based and the other three are non-community. So, we've always have a preference where,
So you can't just, it wasn't a fact that it was an accidental mistake and they said, hey, no, we'll do it or we'll include it or give you. They were unwilling to give us a what was it, that,
Bid bond.
bid bond, so they were.
It locks in their bid price for 10%, so if they don't turn it in, they're disqualified because they aren't technically securing their bid. So Tom, as attorney,
It's a non-responsive bid.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, it stinks for them, because we actually like working with them.
Yeah, we do. They've been helping us with our ball fields.
But I think, and I don't want to put words in their mouth, but I don't think they were able to get one.
No, it was just a timing thing. It wasn't that they couldn't get it. They couldn't get it in time.
Yeah.
So, and it's not worth rebidding, in your opinion? Given that they were, what,
10,000, 9,000.
yeah.
No, I mean, this is the second time we went out to bid. I would prefer not to, but,
The
yeah,
answer is no.
I guess we
Yeah.
could.
We're good.
Okay. I mean, they gotta learn a lesson too. This is one way for them to learn, and hey, make sure they include it. Okay, that's my question.
Thank you. Can I have a motion and a second, please?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Scott Carlson, second by Bill O'Malley. Can I please have a roll call vote?
Commissioner Cook?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
Commissioner Carlson?
Yes.
Vice President Beasley?
Yes.
I will say, Mark, if the discrepancy was greater than the 9,000, I probably would have just said, second or third time, it doesn't matter, rebid it, if I know I can save close to 15, 20%.
Also, when is this on the schedule to be completed?
As soon as school gets out for summer, I forget the exact date, but that's when it'll start, and then it's to be completed before but the construction schedule shows that it'll be done in about a month's time.
Okay, because I know that was one of the parks that had some damaged panels that we have like kind of wood up there. I mean, it's safe, but it just doesn't look as nice, so.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, right. So it'll be done as soon as school is out.
Okay, moving on, can I please have approval of the purchase of playground equipment for Play Illinois LLC of Whedon, Illinois through the Omninav Partners Purchasing Cooperative from the Udell Park Playground Replacement Project in the amount of $170,839.90. Any questions?
So moved.
I need a motion. Thank you. Tom Cook,
Second.
Scott Carlson. Any questions?
No, but I just want to comment before we vote, just to indicate that we did go out and, survey the residents around there, and out of 147 responses, 89 were overwhelmingly chose option 3 with the electric color palette. So that was a nice response for the residents around there to give us their input on the color collection, so, and that's the one we're going to go with, so thank you for your input.
Okay, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
Commissioner Carlson?
Yes.
Commissioner Cook?
Yes.
Vice President Bianchi?
Yes. Okay, let's see. Rescind the approval of purchase of a 2025 Ford F-350, including trade-in from Friendly Ford of Roselle, Illinois, through the Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing Program in the amount of $77,056.03, made on February 13th, 2025. May I please have a motion and a second?
So moved as presented.
Second?
Bill O'Malley, Tom Cook. Any questions?
Yeah, Mark, can you kind of just explain, there's gonna be several vehicles here that we're rescinding that we had previously approved?
Yeah,
And I know you told, we're aware of why we're doing it, but just kind of, before we vote on all these, kind of share with everybody.
so the next 3 items, we're rescinding the approval or the purchase, and then the following 3 will be to reapprove. The reason for it is that staff found that the trade-in values aren't as great as they are for us to auction off the vehicles. So the initial approval included trade-in, so we're not gonna trade them in, we're gonna auction them off. For example, the last vehicle that we auctioned, we received a trade-in estimate from the dealer for $1,000. We ended up getting $10,000 to the auction. So we feel like it's a better way to get rid of the vehicles and maximize the amount that we're getting for them.
So when we, is Ford still willing to give us whatever the value was less the trade? Or are they giving a higher amount that they're charging us because, you know what I mean? how
The
you
vehicle
play-
price stays the same.
Yeah, okay, so the vehicle price is staying the same.
Yeah,
And so they're willing to give us the same vehicle price, take away the trade offer that they had.
yeah.
They're not upping it.
No,
Okay,
no, that the sale price is firm.
good, okay.
Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Carlson?
Yes.
Commissioner Cook?
Yes?
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
Vice President Bianchi?
Yes. Rescind the approval of purchase of a 2025 Ford all-wheel drive transit van, including trade-in from Friendly Ford of Roselle, Illinois, through the Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing Program in the amount of $49,893.03, made on February 13th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Tom Cook, Bill O'Malley. Any questions? Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Cook?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
Commissioner Carlson?
Yes.
Vice President Bianchi?
Yes. Rescind the approval of purchase of a 2025 Ford F-250, including trade-in from Friendly Ford of Roselle, Illinois, through the Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing Program in the amount of $50,027.03, made on February 13th, 2025. Motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Tom Cook, Scott Carlson. Any questions? Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
Commissioner Carlson?
Yes.
Commissioner Cook?
Yes.
Vice President Bianchi?
Yes. Okay, moving on. Still have more. Sorry about all this. Approval of the purchase of 2025 Ford F-350 from Friendly Ford of Roselle, Illinois, through the Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing Program in the amount of $82,056.03.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second?
You're welcome.
Bill O'Malley, Tom Cook. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Carlson?
Yes.
Commissioner Cook?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
Vice President Bianchi?
Yes. Approval of purchase of a 2025 Ford all-wheel drive transit van from Friendly Ford of Roselle, Illinois through the Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing Program in the amount of $55,893.03. Motion and a second.
So moved.
Second?
Tom Cook, Scott Carlson, any questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Cook?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
Commissioner Carlson?
Yes.
Vice President Bianchi?
Yes. Approval of the purchase of a 2025 Ford F-250 from Friendly Ford of Roselle, Illinois through the Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing Program in the amount of $52,227.03. And a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second?
Scott Carlson and Tom Cook, thank you. And any questions? Can I have a roll call, please?
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
Commissioner Carlson?
Yes.
Commissioner Cook?
Yes.
Vice President Bianchi?
Yes, we made that. A through O. Nice job. Okay, committee reports. Moving on. Capital report, capital projects, Commissioner Cook.
Yeah, I just want to update everybody on the Marshall Park renovation. They have broken some ground over there. We have a committed date from the owner that it's going to be done on May 9th. It's going to be tight if getting it done by then, but they are continuing to work on there. I think they're laying the, digging the holes to layer the drainage, and then after that, they'll set up the concrete walls and hopefully the asphalt in. So keep our fingers crossed. I know Mark is on them daily to make sure that they're trying to stay to schedule and follow up on that. The golf course, the driving range is open, and then project is done, so that's good. I think we're just waiting for,
There's a couple of punch list items that we're finishing up and final approval through the county and MWRD.
okay, but we're open for operation.
We are open.
Okay. And then, last thing is tonight at the committee of the whole, we talked about, we have a resident who, the foundation is putting in a 3-hole little putting green on, at Fountain Square area, by the game area, the other game areas there in the center. Basically, it's gonna be a 3-hole putting concrete with a AstroTurf layover. And it's a donation from Jim Kilty, it's fundraising efforts through the foundation. And we're looking forward to that being started and put in there at Fountain Square as another amenity for the residents over there to enjoy, get out there putting, sputters, and practice up. So that is my report.
Thank you. Any questions for Commissioner Cook?
Not for Commissioner Cook. I just kind of want to hang around to this May 9th date. There's a big pile of dirt out there, so we got to remove the dirt. We have to do cement work. We have to do asphalt work. We have to put up the glass frame. There's fencing, I hope somewhere in the middle of the courts. We still have to stripe it, paint it, sign it. We're gonna do all this in 14 days?
It's gonna be-
Doesn't seem likely to me. So I hate being on air at the end of April saying May 9th, and I say that's a lot of crap to do. So do you think it's May 9th? I don't.
I don't either. I think it's more realistically the end of May. I'm hoping that it's gonna get done before Memorial Day, but he every time I push him, he swears he's gonna get it done on time. I don't see how they're gonna do it because they're a couple weeks behind on their schedule.
And that's what I want to do. I want to have accurate, factual information that I can share with other people. I do know, talking to you over the winter, we did set a guideline of Memorial Day. Then we kind of scooted it up because I believe at the last meeting, you said May 16th. I think you said. And then today it was May 9th. And I'd rather just go get some kind of consensus and not mislead the public on this. So we are probably hoping for Memorial Day. I mean, sure, we're hoping for Memorial Day. Does that seem more realistic than May 9th?
It seems more realistic.
I'd rather start talking that date when the general public starts talking, or if I start talking.
I
That's
went
all.
by there last night. There's no way they'll be done by May 9th.
Well, yeah, and I think, my point is, I think last week, when Ben went out and talked to the owner, got some reassurance as to a timeline, we should be following up on that timeline if we have to daily or with the owner, say, okay, what happened to the concrete? What happened to, why isn't, there's 2 people out there digging a hole.
That's why I'm on the phone with him daily to make sure that he's doing what he
So
can.
what is his response been, I guess, is what?
He keeps saying it's gonna get done.
Yeah, it's a lot of excuses, and we'll make up for it, we'll get it done. We'll see.
Yeah. Another thing is part of the capital thing, and I talked to Ben about this, in the future, we might consider putting in some performance deadlines in our bids, when they go out to bid, and Attorney Hoffman, can you talk a little bit about that? Is there any kind of restrictions that we can do? I know we can put in some performance deadlines so that they have to hit.
Yeah, that's all appropriate, and you can do that. Oftentimes, it's coupled with a provision for liquidated damages on a daily basis. You gotta be careful how you approach that, though, because they're not really favored by the courts, but commonly seen.
Yeah. So we have a bigger project like this, I think we need to maybe consider doing that in our bidding process to have a little, some way to enforce it and, have some penalty if they don't meet those.
Well, the only problem is you might limit who's gonna bid on it too.
You might, yeah, if we get no bids, then we have to change it, but I'm assuming some people will want to work and will want to commit to it. Yeah. So we'll have to talk about that when we have our next project, but I think it's something worth looking at least, since we've had some issues with delays on a couple of the last projects that we've done, so. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Moving on, Finance Committee, Commissioner Carlson.
Okay, the corporate fund, there's $1,681,504 in property tax was collected in March. All expense categories are under budget. Year-to-date of $2,506,078 compared to a budget of $2,171,848.74. Recreation fund, $856,484 in property tax collected in March. Fees and admissions, $379,000 compared to a budget of $374,658. Program fees were $624,782 compared to a budget of $572,181. All expense categories at or under budget except supplies and program supplies and contractual based on timing of payments. Year-to-date of $1,198,552 compared to a budget of $914,842. The golf fund, 1,749 rounds played in March. Fees and admissions, $107,233 compared to a budget of $106,414. All expense categories are at or under budget year-to-date. Year-to-date of negative $150,681 compared to a budget of negative $211,487. And I just want Brett to, the reason for that is that it hasn't got rolling yet. The golf course
Correct.
hasn't got rolling.
Yeah, traditionally, the off-season would be the winter months from our operating loss.
Right.
And summer makes up for that.
Any
That's
questions
it.
for Commissioner Carlson?
No, just, I did mention to Brad an Audubon question which he answered. I don't need the response now unless somebody knows it, but Tiffany, on the seniors on page 24, that's the only thing I spotted is the expenses are twice as much year-to-date. I mean,
So it's their overnight out-of-town trip. So what happens is we had to make that payment, but our system won't recognize that revenue.
Until the money comes in.
Until the first day of the trip,
and that's Tennessee.
yes.
Okay.
So we have it, it's just not gonna be recognized until the start of that trip.
Sounds good.
Okay, next is Committee of the Whole. I'll take that. So we discussed the Fountain Square Putting Green project. As Commissioner Cook mentioned, board approved the project for the staff to move forward. We had a discussion on the safety manual. We approved the proposed manual updates. We had a discussion on the lease agreement with the First Baptist Church of Elk Grove Village. We approved a 10-year lease for $10, $1 each year. For old business, we discussed the electrical rates, gave direction to our Director of Business Services to go ahead and move forward. And that was it. Any questions for me? Athletic Committee, Commissioner Carlson.
No report.
Golf Course Committee, Commissioner O'Malley.
Yep, small report. All you guys saw the minutes that were approved at our last meeting. We met on April 1st. It was Commissioner Carlson and myself, Brad Scholes and Alex, just the four of us. Three main subjects: a discussion on golf capital projects, discussion on the event schedule, discussion on clubhouse operations. Underneath the golf capitals, we talked about the wastewater treatment that we actually approved tonight. We talked about the driving range, which has opened since then. Underneath the event schedule, we talked about some of the music acts were coming, going live, dueling pianos. The golf tournaments that are coming this year are hot and heavy. There'll be no music in the summer. Maybe they'll choose one in the middle of the summer. And then discussion on clubhouse operations. The bulk of that came to Alex's changing his philosophy on staffing and looking for staff that can potentially work more year-round hours than pure seasonal, like some of the college kids. They did hire the driving range manager. His name is Gino Gianola. He's already started. Welcome, Gino. He's a Village of Bensonville Public Works retiree who was working maintenance last year at the golf course part-time. And so he assumed the responsibilities at the driving range. That's it, guys.
Any questions for Commissioner O'Malley? Youth Committee, it's Commissioner Biecky, me. Scott Carlson and I serve on the village's youth committee. We'll be doing, we had discussed already the youth committee scholarships. There will be 7 scholarships between the village and the Park District through the Parks Foundation. This year, the Parks Foundation increased it to 3 scholarships, and the village will be doing 4 scholarships, as I said, for a total of 7. We have met, we have discussed, and we will be announcing the 7 individuals that will receive $1,000 each. We will invite them to a future meeting here at our meeting and introduce them and discuss that. They will also be introduced at a village board meeting as well. Both the candidates that are receiving the village scholarship as well as the individuals that will be receiving the Parks Foundation. So good luck to everyone that applied. We wish everyone the best. More information to come. Does anyone have any questions for me? Okay, thank you. Moving on, Adult Center Committee, Commissioner Cook.
Yes, the Sheila Ray Buzz is out and about for the summer, so make sure you pick it up or check it out for July, August, September. It's a lot of great activities. To give you everything you need to know about what's going on this summer at the Sheila Ray Adult Center. Attended the meeting of April 15th, and they've completed their AARP tax appointments. They had 560 returns completed, which I believe is a record this year. So thank you for those that volunteered, and I'm sure we'll get a report from them at one of our board meetings here. But great turnout and a great thing that they do over there at the Sheila Ray Center. Some things coming up, April 30th, the $1 Million Quartet is being done on April 30th. The Spring Bazaar is on May 2nd from 10 to 4 p.m. Garden Club is on May 5th. There's a trip sold out, Holland, Michigan trip, but sold out, so I won't mention that. And then there's a Mitchell Park Domes trip in Milwaukee. There's 8 spots left for May 20th. There's total membership. Oh, they had also an open house on March 14th. Had 25 people attend. They had the 13 new members from that. So great turnout and great recruitment. We are at a total of 304 memberships at the so far for 2025. So great job, and that ends my report.
Thank you very much. Any questions for Commissioner Cook?
No, just like to add one comment on the trip. Being a Cubs fan, sorry Rod Marino, White Sox fan. There is a trip up to Milwaukee. I think it's at the end of July for those that do not want all the traffic and the headache around Wrigley Field and the parking fees and the excessive ticket amount. I believe if you're a member for around $100, you can get a motor coach ride and the ticket to the game, and it leaves the pavilion and it comes back to the pavilion. Obviously Milwaukee, you don't worry about rainouts. They're a dome stadium. So if you thought about seeing another stadium or you want to see the Cubs somewhere besides Wrigley Field, the Sheila Ray is hosting a trip up to Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Thank you for that information. Pavilion Committee, Commissioner O'Malley.
It's with great sadness that we did not have a meeting. I think Commissioner Cook and myself probably buried that committee. It's passed away. That's it.
Okay, any questions for Commissioner O'Malley? No, moving on to old business. Does any staff or commissioners have any old business? You looked like you were gonna talk.
I was thinking about it. Landscaping at Marshall. I happened to see Connie over at Marshall Park. Have we put completely on hold the part between the sidewalk and the parking lot? Do we have any kind of landscaping planned in the next 12 months there?
Yeah, as soon as the pickleball project is complete, we will be working on the landscaping.
Okay.
Landscaping is typically the last part of any project.
Yeah, and I get that, but mine wasn't, well, like, when are you gonna do it? I wanted to make sure that there is ample space there, and it probably does need some kind of buffer anyway, so.
Yeah,
what's planned?
I've been talking with staff about options that we can do to increase the amount based on feedback that we've received.
Okay.
Okay, moving on, new business, we have adoption of ordinance number 455, an ordinance authorizing and directing the sale, transfer, and conveyance of certain used personal property. Can I have a motion and a second, please?
So moved.
Second?
Commissioner O'Malley, then second by Commissioner Cook. Any questions? Can we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Carlson?
Yes.
Commissioner Cook?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
Vice President Bianchi?
Yes. Moving on to payment of the bills, March 2025 P cards in the amount of $120,565.81. April 11th, 2025 in the amount of $343,480.62. April 18th, 2025 in the amount of $476,445.63. Can I please have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second?
Okay, motion by Scott Carlson, second by Tom Cook. Does anyone have any questions?
No, Robert.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Cook?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
Commissioner Carlson?
Yes.
Vice President Bianchi?
Yes. Before we adjourn, does anyone have any questions? Okay, can I please have a motion and a second to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Bill O'Malley and Scott Carlson. Can I please have a roll call?
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes, Ms. Santowski.
Commissioner Carlson?
Yes.
Commissioner Cook?
Yes.
Vice President Bianchi?
Yes, we are adjourned. Thank you.